started, if anybody wants to be able to donate or purchase a question, I am doing a special on my questions today for Christmas. It's going to be 2 for $10. You can find my PayPal, Cash App, and Amazon wishlist all in the description box below. Thank you to anybody who does anything to support this channel. The donations mean the world to me. So does the purchases and the likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It all helps me out so much. Thank you guys for that. So we definitely have a lot coming out here at this moment in time collectively. There is a lot of things that have been hidden that are coming out. There are also some people that are winning over their inner demons as well, overcoming what's going on and being able to free themselves up for a new life. There could definitely be somebody in particular that you're interested in that may actually be freeing themselves up for a new life right at this moment and really being able to overcome the battles that they've been fighting. There's definitely a transformation of this energy of being very overwhelmed. There could definitely have been some mental health issues or problems in the past or some sort of addictions or something. And you're really learning how to care for yourself and love yourself, nurture yourself, take care of you. Another thing that's coming to mind when looking at this music box. Long ago, far away, in a place I almost remember, and a song someone sings once upon a December. I know I butchered that and did not get any of the lyrics right, but same concept. There could definitely be things that you're remembering now that you did not remember before, things that you're seeing differently, things that you're noticing and appreciating more. And there could actually be something happening as well where somebody might actually be wanting to fight somebody over you in some sort of way. There's going to be some sort of vigilante justice going on for some situation that happened. There's going to be recognition and success coming to you as well. There could be somebody that wants to reward you in some sort of way. Maybe this person in the past believed a lot of lies about you, and now those lies are coming out as false. And so this person may actually want to do something about that, including being able to come back and apologize for the way that they treated you. Financial success. You have freed yourself. Abundance. Hard work pays off. Breaking cycles. No longer bound. So you're no longer feeling in a state of lack as well. You're really feeling like the things that you're doing and the path that you're taking is one that is very healthy for you and very good for you. And it's breaking you out of a lot of the past feelings of lack and loss. Strange feelings and foreign thoughts. You could be dealing with a lot of new feelings coming up, a lot of things that you haven't felt in a long time. And you may be realizing just how much of your heart has been blocked off because of how much more it's opening right now. And you might be having a lot of, you might actually be having people around you as well trying to get under your skin or trying to get into your thoughts in some sort of way and cause you to fumble what you got going on, but that is definitely not going to be happening. You are also releasing a lot more of the judgment that you may have had in the past. I actually had a discussion with somebody recently where they were talking about a friend of theirs was saying something to them about you shouldn't judge how each person escapes because everybody escapes differently. And this person was extremely judgmental over heroin. I've listened to them talk about it before. And this person told them, you know, I've been doing heroin for a while now. And he's like, oh, you've been doing heroin for the past 2 years? And he's like, no, I've been doing heroin since I known you. And he's like, wow, really? I never would have guessed. And so there really is a stigma surrounding a lot of things. It's not just a stigma surrounding race or a stigma surrounding your sexual preferences or a stigma surrounding where you grew up or what languages you speak or whatever. There's also stigmas around things like drugs as well or alcohol. And, you know, there are good and bad people everywhere, including in those situations as well. Everybody has some sort of demons that they're fighting at some point in time in their life, and everybody has some sort of method they're using to escape, whether it be food, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol, whether it be people, no matter what it is, it's still a codependency and it can still make you act in crazy ways. And some people are still not going to behave in ways that are completely evil, regardless of whatever it is they use to escape. And some will, regardless of whether or not they're using anything to escape. So there's definitely a union going on here as well. You're going to be leveling up and coming into some sort of union with somebody. There may even be a new life given to a past union as well. But either way, you're going to really be sitting on the throne with you and your person, and it's going to be a hard fought for and won throne. So you're both really going to be feeling very good about all the things that you had to do to get to where you are right now, or where you are in the near future. So, let's see what else our guides want to talk to us about today. And I'll put it this way. There haven't been too many sober people that are super spiritual or religious or anything else that have helped me when I've been in the positions I've been in. 90% of the people that have helped me have been drug addicts or alcoholics. Even better, the person who invited me to stay in front of this house I'm staying in front of right now, which is why I had people to spend Thanksgiving with and made a few new friends, is somebody who served their time, yes, but it's also somebody who abused their own daughter. So, my kids, needless to say, do not come over here. But at the same time, can't really hate somebody who's actually willing to take care of the people around them on this planet, because a lot of other people who don't do things like that weren't. No one's curses hold weight anymore. I and my ancestors are far too powerful for them to take out. Anything sent my way just falls away. It's like water attacking oil and failing miserably. No more scattered energy or mind. They are done, finished. Anything that they have sent out will be returned, as karmic laws entail. My energy is free of their negativity. It cannot touch me ever again. Curses hold no weight, neither does evil eye. Me and my person are free, cleansed, protected. My children are free of their evil and no longer affected either. My protection and that of my ancestors extends down to them as well. So there is no reason to worry anymore. One thing that came to mind as I was reading that is the movie Skeleton Key. The reason that their curses worked on her is because she believed in them. She gave them power. She gave them her power, when she could have placed her faith and her power in a higher power. But instead, she placed it in their power, and that's how they were able to use those things on her to take her life, to take her body, to switch positions with her. The way they were able to do that is because she gave them that power. They never would have been able to do it if she didn't believe that they could. You are very powerful, and you're a very powerful manifester. And the moment you start believing these people can affect you, tear you down, and destroy your life, that's the moment it starts happening. But the moment you believe that there is no way they could ever touch you, especially with the strength of your spiritual team behind you, they will never be able to touch you again. Someone met someone else behind the scenes. They already knew each other when you met. It could have been orchestrated. This happened for a reason for you both. And this has come out a couple times the last couple days too. So lessons needed to be learned on both sides. At this point, their view on you has changed. They no longer think that you were the problem or blame you. They have been very painfully forced to look in the mirror. They are seeing how they have destroyed everyone who has ever loved them. They don't want to do this anymore. Look within for the answers. Let them go, and the answers will come. Deep song about loving someone for who they are. This is actually a song on YouTube. It's called Deep Song About Loving Someone for Who They Are. Because I need you to love me for me. Don't love me for who you think that I could be, because I'll disappoint you if you don't love me for me. So if you're going to love this person who has betrayed you, then you have to love this person who has betrayed you, flaws and all. That doesn't mean that you got to have them around to do it again or anything like that. What it does mean, though, is that you're not going to hate them forever because of the way that they treated you. I realized over the last couple weeks a few extra things that I didn't even realize before. I knew somebody had betrayed me very deeply, and I knew a lot of the things that she had done. But I really never thought about the fact that she knew everybody else that was betraying me as well. And she knew all the things that they were doing, all the things that they were lying about, and she never said a word about it. Because she was never really my friend. Not once was she ever really my friend. As much as I loved her and as much as I saw that glimmer of light inside of her that could have been turned into something phenomenal if she chose to, she didn't choose to. Thank you. Some people choose to and some people don't. And it sounds like somebody is getting ready to choose to because somebody is feeling very guilty and ashamed of the actions that they have taken. And is wanting to express these things. But I also feel like you've been waiting for this for a very long time, and a lot of the reason that you had to wait for it was so it would come at a good time, so that it wouldn't come at a time when you were still so angry about the past. Drop the burden, because in order to bring these people to the light, grace has to be shown. If you want grace from your creators, you have to give grace yourself. Anything that you want to come back to you, you have to give out. Drop the burden. So much weight falls on me, so much weight it's hard to see. A load so heavy for me to bear, it doesn't really seem so fair. But heavy is the crown I wear, adorned as it is with so much flair. Blessed in life I will be, blessed in life for all to see. I sacrificed so much in life, took up armor for the chaos and strife, fought the battle for the light, at the end gates, about to win this fight. No more running from the dark, singing as happy as a free lark. I dropped the load I carried so far, and somehow everything was on par. Surrendered all my cares and worries, turned my prayers into queries. Now I'm at peace right where I am, able to sleep like a peaceful lamb. 11:122. So, now is the time to drop the burdens. Now is the time to drop the worries and the cares, the hate, the anger, the pain of the past. To give it up to those that you pray to, and to ask them for peace and healing, forgiveness. To ask them, the thing that's coming to mind right now is the Lord's Prayer. Please forgive me my trespasses as I forgive those who have trespassed against me. If you want forgiveness, then you have to give forgiveness, and that includes from yourself. We are our own worst judges, and we always will. We will never judge anybody else harsher than we judge ourselves. So when we're judging other people, we are judging ourselves 10 times harder. And when we are holding back our forgiveness from others, we are unable to forgive ourselves for allowing ourselves to be in those positions, or for whatever twisted way we're thinking about it in our mind. Because you know what? Do I feel like you're to blame for the abuse you went through? Hell no, I don't. And I don't feel like I was to blame for the abuse I went through either. But I still had to forgive myself for thinking that sacrificing myself for everybody in my family was so important. To forgive myself for being so blind that I wouldn't see that he was also abusing my little sister. And in order to forgive myself for those things, I had to forgive him as well. I learned at a very young age that that's the way that I had to do that in order to let it go. And if it wasn't for being able to let it go, I may not be here today. Because that's how much it was eating me up inside. When you got that stuff going on inside, it eats at you and eats at you. And it morphs you into a person that you don't want to be. So it's time to let go of it and free yourself for you. There's a lot of ego deaths going on right now, for ourselves and for others. Those who have hurt you will face their karma. Wash your hands, forgive and release. For you. I love that this came out right when it did, because it's exactly what I was just saying. When dealing with that, walking away is best. You know the signs. They do less damage and the scales will be balanced. Don't worry what they thought or what anyone else did. Don't waste your time trying to get revenge. What matters is what you think of you. Think highly of yourself and take the high road, with a lesson learned to reap good karma. It is easy to start thinking, oh, you must have thought I was so stupid. I'll show you. But don't do that, because that's ego. The best way to handle it is to heal, shine, and glow up. People can talk and think all they like. Your fruit will show for itself. And some people might even call you weak. Some people, I've dealt with a lot of people that are like, why wouldn't you do something about that? Why wouldn't you do something about this? Why wouldn't you do something? Because you know what? They'll take care of it and I don't got to worry about it. And you know what? I got my life to live. Why do I want to waste all my time focused on them and all their bullshit and bringing more negativity into my life by focusing on it? Instead, I'm going to focus on what I got going on, and I'm going to continue leveling up, and I'm going to continue moving forward. And I'm not going to focus all my time, energy, and efforts on trying to get revenge on somebody who did me wrong, because there's no fucking point. There's no point. I don't feel like doing it. I don't even like seeing it half the time. Sometimes I do. Like earlier this year when that person screwed me over with my RV and every single one of their work trucks broke down that week, one right after the other. And I was like, see, that's what happens. Maybe you should have thought twice before you fuck with me. I actually was asked by several people after that incident if I was hexing and cursing people. No, I'm not hexing and cursing people. I'm just washing my hands of shit and letting everybody else take care of it. Because they will. Please take my lack of interest as a no. I have boundary issues and a hard time hurting others with rejection, as I know how that feels. Rejection is protection, but I still have a hard time seeing it that way from either side. Love is when both people feel it, and that's what we both really want. Find the strength to let me go. Find someone who gives you the time and interest that you're looking for and you deserve. Don't get stuck on someone who doesn't see you that way. It hurts. I should know. I wish that I could be honest with you, but it hurts too much. I know that sounds selfish, but it is what it is. Maybe one day I will learn to speak my truth. So if you're waiting for the truth from somebody to come out as well, about how they feel about you, about whether or not they're your friend, about whether or not they want to be a partner to you, about whether or not they feel anything more for you. If they are showing you with their actions that they don't, if they're not showing up for you on a regular basis, if they're skipping out on your dates, or if they're skipping out on time spent with you, if they're inviting all their other friends to go, but they're not inviting you to go, all those kinds of things, those are actions that show you that you are not a priority on their list and that they do not feel the same way about you as you feel about them. So letting those people go and closing the door on those situations that are not for your highest good is going to open the door to people who are going to show up for you every day. People who are going to make you a priority on their list. People who actually do love you and have feelings and emotions for you the way that you do for them. But you can't have that while you're stuck on the people that are breadcrumbing and ghosting and playing with your emotions and all that kind of shit. And you know, some of them are doing it intentionally, some of them aren't. Some of them have no idea that they're affecting you the way that they are. But the way that you are being affected, regardless of what anybody else is doing, the way that you're being affected is inside of you. You're looking for validation from these people, that somehow you are an important person. You are an important person. Start showing yourself you're an important person instead of waiting for people outside of you to show you that. If you thought you were an important person, you wouldn't be waiting around for these people that are not giving you what you deserve. Regardless of how much emotion you had for them, your emotion for yourself would outweigh that. The love that you have for you would cause you to act different and behave different. So any of that, regardless of what they're doing, is inside of you when it comes down to it. Take care of inside of you. And yes, it is easier said than done. Of course it is. I've been there myself, where I have been somebody that was chasing after somebody that couldn't give a shit less about me. And sometimes, yeah, they're a bad person, but sometimes they're really not a bad person. They just don't feel the same. Honor Gaia. Heed the messengers. Share your thoughts. So, what are your thoughts on these people? What are your thoughts on the way they're treating you? What needs to be said? I have told people at points that, you know what? I treated you like you were the best thing in this world. I was always there for you. Anytime you needed a friend, I was there to listen to you. Anytime you needed a shoulder to cry on, I was there to catch your tears. Anytime you needed somebody to go out with you and couldn't find anybody, there I was. But when it was the other way around, you were nowhere to be found. And this person spent all their time chasing after other people in the same way. People that weren't caring about them the same way I was doing with her. And I was like, you know what? Maybe next time you should stop focusing on all these people that don't give a flying fuck about you and start focusing on the ones right in front of you who actually love you. But I can't do this anymore. And I walked away. And it also showed her how to walk away from people like that in her life too. Maybe at some point she will find those people that both feel it on both sides. I've started finding some of those people in my life, but it's because I have let go of the ones that weren't. Little wolf girl, it's all right to be alone. It's okay to be alone. It's great to be alone sometimes. Sometimes it's fucking phenomenal to be alone. And sometimes it's miserable and awful and painful. But getting through that is how you know that you are strong enough to be on your own. That's how you know that you are no longer going to allow anybody into your field just so you don't have to be alone. Being okay being alone is a very important part of killing codependency, especially on human beings. Frog Princess, heed wise counsel, listen. So we have heed the messengers and heed wise counsel and listen. Hi, beautiful. Oh, hi, ascending higher too. I didn't see your message earlier. Sorry. So heed the messengers, heed the wisdom that you're getting, the messages that you're receiving, all the things that are coming through, especially through nature. I feel like you might be seeing a particular bird on a regular basis or a particular plant on a regular basis, something along those lines. And it may be reminding you of something or someone and what they would say to you. And it may also be that there's some deeper symbolism there as well. And looking it up may be something that helps you. Maybe even a particular type of tree that you keep running across. Listen to those messages that nature is sending you. I believe in miracles, definitely. Definitely. Every time I think about something like that, one of the biggest things I think about was that time in that car where the radio started playing, "Not gonna drown in the water, 'cause the good Lord ain't bringing me home." Right when somebody was talking about driving us off a cliff into water. And I just started laughing, and they were looking at me like I had two fucking heads because I wasn't scared of them, and they weren't able to feed off my fear. I had a thrill of it for a second, and then the messages came in. The messages came in to remind me of what my faith looks like and of the fact that I have a purpose and ain't nobody gonna tear that down or destroy it. And that if anybody died today, it was gonna be him, and that's exactly what I told him. We never drove off that cliff, that's for sure. Those messages are always there to guide you and to show you the way. So we also got the Six of Cups, wash away your burdens, and the Ace of Pentacles. So this cleansing that you're doing, this washing away of the burdens, this releasing of the pain and the hurt and the anger and the anguish over the past, over the betrayals, over the people who have used you or abused you or left you to bleed. That is really clearing the way for new ideas, new thoughts, new perspectives, new understandings. There's going to be a lot of new inspiration and new motivation coming into your life. A lot of a desire to act and a desire to make the changes necessary in your life to live the life that you want to live. You're no longer going to be carrying the burdens of everyone around you on your shoulders. Everyone makes their own decisions. Everyone makes their own choices, and you can't force anybody to do anything, regardless of how much you would like for people to pull their heads out of their asses, regardless of how much you would like for your friend who's an addict to walk away from their addiction, no matter how much you would like to walk away from your own addictions, because as we discussed earlier, everybody has something, some form of escape method that they're working on healing. You can't force anybody to do anything, and no one can force you. So the best thing that you can do is love yourself and lead by example. Work on your own stuff. Take care of you. Also, make sure that when you're going into connections, because you're washing these burdens away and you're healing this root, some of you may want to watch the root chakra healing I did last week as well. When you're healing that root core of you, and increasing your confidence, your stability, increasing your self-care and your self-love and your self-respect. When you're lifting yourself up in that way, you are much less likely to get into situations where you're pouring your love all over people and they're not pouring anything back. You're much more likely to put up those boundaries and tell yourself, hey, this person's only giving me this much. I'm only going to give them this much. And if this person's giving me a bit more, I'm going to give this person a bit more. And if this person's giving me a bit more, but I'm really not interested, I'm going to let this person know, hey, I'm not interested. I realize that you're feeling that way about me, but I'm not feeling that way about you. And, you know, it's nothing against you. This is just how I'm feeling. If everybody else gets to be okay with how they're feeling, then I do too, right? I've told a lot of people that lately. I'm like, you know, if LGBTQ community people don't have to apologize for what they're attracted to, then I don't have to. If guys who only go for skinny women don't have to apologize for what they're attracted to, why do I? I attract a lot of older men, and I'm not talking, I date older men, but I'm talking like 20 years older and shit like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. And some of them get a little hurt, or there's been a few of them that are like trying to make me feel guilty because age is just a number and it shouldn't all be about the age. But I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not attracted to you in any way. And it has nothing to do with looks. I'm not attracted to somebody who could be my fucking father, literally. Who's the same age as the man who molested me as a child, or whatever the fuck else. I don't care. It's, you know, and what is wrong with that? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with being attracted to what you're attracted to and not being attracted to what you're not attracted to, and telling people the truth on that. And nothing's wrong with other people telling you the truth on that. It hurts, sure. But I would much rather have somebody be honest with me than to string me along, breaking my heart extra in the process. Release. I release it all, the whole damn fall, the giant leap, my feelings they seep, running free, flowing over and out to sea, moving forward at last. The past is in the past. So in order to call in this new union and this new relationship and these new connections and the new happiness and joy and emotional intimacy in your life, you have to let go of the past. You have to let go of the pain. You have to let go of the hurt. You have to let go of the fact that you put your heart out there and it got stomped on. Yes, it got stomped on. But you can't protect it forever, because if you protect it forever, then you lose out on a chance of ever knowing love over being afraid of the pain that it can bring with it. Not Gonna Drown. Crazy that I was just talking about that song too. You're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you for being here today. Arms open wide, waiting on the tide, hoping I don't drown. Maybe this one's not a clown. Listen to your heart and stand strong. Answers soon will come along. Such a brave soul to open up. Continue now to fill your cup. Something amazing is coming for you. Rewards for all that you do. I'm enjoying what we have now. Regardless of where it's going, regardless of what could happen, regardless of whether or not anybody's lying, it don't matter. I'm enjoying what I have now. I'm opening my heart and I'm being free. And I am not going to let thoughts of the future or thoughts of the past pull me off of this track. But I'm going to enjoy what's right in front of me in this moment, which is so hard to do. And I did it earlier this year, and I'm having a little bit harder of a time doing it right at this moment. But that's what it takes to be able to allow in something beautiful. Hi, beautiful. You're welcome, and thank you for being here too. So, nighttime lover, daytime ghost. My heart beats faster, but you only come at night. I know it's a disaster. I try so hard to fight. You keep me so distant, but you make me melt in an instant. Why can't you just be real and show what you feel? Why must you drink to reveal what you think? When morning comes, I'm alone. You return to your zone. Until you figure out what you want, only in your thoughts will I haunt. No more chasing for this girl. Let your love unfurl. So, you could definitely have been dealing with somebody that calls you at like midnight. And Hey, can I come over there? What are you doing? And then you don't hear from them for a week after that or some shit like that. And they're telling you right there exactly how they feel. And yes, it sucks because you know what? You might be feeling a lot more for them than they're feeling for you. Plus, when it comes to having abandonment issues or when it comes to having things like that going on, it really triggers that response in you to want that validation, to want them around more, to want that love that they're denying you. If you dealt with a lot of people that were emotionally distant or cold, emotionally unavailable in childhood, it really does affect you in a very strong way. I do. On Dee's Storytime, my other channel, you can find a link in the description box below. I have all the poems that I use on here. As I add them to my bag, I add them to that channel. So any of them that come out are already on there. Thank you, by the way. Stop the self-hate. You are amazing, just the way that you are. Don't worry about those who don't accept you. Accept yourself instead. We will never be liked by or be able to please everyone, but we can like ourselves so that we don't care. Validation comes from within. Validate yourself. You're welcome. So, a powerfully big ego it must take for humans to think that only their planet out of all the vast galaxies could have life. It's the same ego that drives them to believe that animals are just dumb beasts or children don't deserve the same respect as adults do. There's a lot that ego affects in the human world. Try not to let it guide your actions. It takes big pride to cling to being right, even when you're proven wrong. It also takes a fear of abandonment or punishment. They will lie continuously and hold on for dear life. It's exactly why beating kids never works, but sitting down and talking to them, admitting that you've been there and done that, but it doesn't make it okay, works so much better. But people don't admit that either. It's not okay for somebody to beat on an adult, but it's okay for somebody to beat on a kid. No, it ain't. It's not okay for anybody to beat on anybody unless somebody's putting their hands on them first. Sometimes you have learned the hard way. It's amazing what a respectful conversation can do for you and for them. It's amazing what sitting down and talking and listening can do for any relationship, any friendship, any bond between a parent and a child, any bond between a partner, even between you and your parents. It's amazing what just sitting down and having a respectful conversation can sometimes do. And sometimes other people can't have that respectful conversation. But that's not on you, and at least you tried. Thank you, beautiful. There's definitely a lot of rewards and blessings coming in at this time for everyone. There will be hell to pay for messing with your energy. They can no longer harvest from you. Practice self-love and self-care. Don't let their behavior distract you from your goals. It's your time to shine. No one can hold you back but you. So get on track, remove the fear, remove the doubt, and have faith and trust in your divine path. So, nobody can cause you to miss out on anything that is meant for you other than yourself. Your actions is what denotes whether or not you have success. Whether or not you allow those distractions to come in and to cause you to be focusing all your time, energy, and effort on all this other bullshit, or whether or not you're going to continue focusing on what's important to you and what you want to create in this world and not allow those distractions to come in and tear you off course. The Queen of Wands, the Chariot, the Ace of Cups, and the Six of Wands. Taking action now to go after what it is that you want, what it is that inspires you, what it is that makes you feel alive, what it is that brings a spark into your life. What do you love doing? Where do you love being? How do you love dressing? What is it that you enjoy? And what is it that really makes you feel confident and bold and daring? What is it that makes you want to take this leap and express yourself? Really being able to delve into your shadow side and ask what it is that you're most afraid of, what it is that you are most held back by, why it is that you're not taking action. What is it that you're ashamed of? What is it that you feel guilty about? What is it that you're angry about and feeling entitled because of? Because all of those things are part of your shadow side, and every one of us as humans has those shadow sides. When we deny them, they create havoc in our lives. But when we acknowledge them and work with them, we can turn them into the best strengths we have, from a weakness to the biggest strength we have. All because we chose not to ignore them or look through them or pretend they didn't exist, but because we were able to admit it to ourselves and the world around us, and then we were able to put in the time, energy, and effort to learn, grow, shift, and change what we feel like we need to change within ourselves. It's not always the world around us that needs to change, but something about within us a lot of times is what needs to be changed so that we can move forward again. They have that Native American saying where they talk about the wolf that you starve is the one that loses. Personally, I feel like, have you ever seen a starved wolf? Because a starved wolf gets ravenous, deadly, destructive. If you starve that wolf, if you deny those shadow sides out of existence, they are going to come up, and they are going to come up in a much worse way than they ever would have if you would have just loved them and shown them some kindness, some care, some empathy, some compassion. You feed them beauty and they become beautiful. But if you starve them and neglect them, they become ravenous and dangerous. So there is definitely some successful partnerships and connections that you're going to be creating in your life. And this is going to be happening very quickly because you're going to be figuring out what it is that's been holding you back all this time. And you're going to be moving forward quicker than you have in years towards this success, towards this recognition. You've been climbing over all these obstacles. You've been doing a lot of work. You've really been putting a lot into yourself. And you should be proud of yourself for this, because not everybody chooses to do that. Trust in the magic. Seek your destiny. So, when something's seeming too good to be true, do you all of a sudden start going, oh, when's the other shoe going to drop? When's the sky going to fall? Something bad is coming, I know it. Are you going to start creating something bad into your life? Or are you going to give way to that feeling of faith and hope? And allow yourself to believe that even if this situation doesn't work out perfectly, that's okay. Because that's what was meant to be. And that's how it was meant to go, to get me where I need to be. And all of it is part of the magic, the good and the bad. We may not like the bad so much, but it is a part of what creates us. And honestly, if I had the chance right now to wave a magic wand and to obliterate all the nasty things that happened in my past, I wouldn't. Because I wouldn't be me. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. So between messages, I'm doing a special today where it's 2 questions for $10. I figured with Christmas coming up, it was a good time to do a special for you guys. And if anybody wants to be able to donate or purchase, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below. Truly appreciate each and every one of you guys that does that, or likes, shares, comments, subscribes on this channel or my other channel. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the support that you send my way. And let's see what else our guides want to talk about today. La, 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 la. You can be happy with very little. Sometimes you can be miserable with a lot. Happiness is found in the little things, and it's found inside yourself. The peace of a sunset, your pets, your kids, your family, and friends, that is what's truly important. Wanting for more is not wrong, but remember to be grateful for now first, too. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate that. So, It's never wrong to want something more for yourself, but you do need to remember to be grateful for what you have now. And even when people break away from you, if you're working on something really important and you end up with a lot of people that are bitter or jealous or resentful or whatever the fuck it is that they got up their ass over there, that's their business. That's not yours. That's something inside of themselves that they need to work on. That does not take away from the fact that you've loved this person for a very long time and that it hurts that they're behaving the way that they are. But at the same time, maybe it can help you to be more compassionate and understanding with their shadow side. And once you start being more compassionate and understanding with your own shadow side, it's much easier to be that way with other people's shadow sides. That doesn't mean you have to tolerate abuse. Nobody's saying tolerate abuse. But what I am saying is have compassion, understanding, and forgiveness. Be grateful that that person was in your life. Be grateful for the love that you have, even if it is not visible anymore. And allow yourself to continue working on what you're working on. And maybe one day things will be able to come back together. Maybe they won't, but maybe they will. The story that's coming to mind right now is Joseph, King of Dreams. His family sold him for 10 pieces of silver. They spent the rest of their lives regretting it until they ran across him again, hating themselves for it. Guilty, ashamed. Their next little brother, they treated him like he was fucking gold because they never wanted anything to happen to him because they already felt so guilty about what happened to the other one. And he could have turned his back on them when they apologized and threw themselves down at his feet and wept. But he didn't. He gave them grace, the same grace that he was given. We've been through so much together. We'll always be together. Separation is an illusion. I will see you again. No worries. Right now it's time to live. You still have more to do first. You have a big purpose and a big impact to make. Don't be distracted from your path. Manifesting is going to be a very big thing for you. Writing it down, scripting it, putting into words everything that you want to come into fruition. There's many different ways of manifesting. One of the biggest ways that people use is scripting. Candle magic, water magic, fire magic. There's all different kinds of ways that people do that. And manifestation is something that's going to be very important for you at this time. Blind faith isn't so blind anymore because I'm currently seeing the rewards that were reaped from the crops that I nurtured so long. So look around you and start to see, is there some areas where some of those things have started to pay off already? Start to congratulate yourself for that. Start to be proud of that. Congratulate yourself for the rest of the rewards that are coming later. You may still have a lot of work to do on some of those things, but all of your work is going to mean something, and it is going to bring in some beautiful crops for you. If you are going to be a shepherd, then you can't hate the sheep. Others will follow where you lead when you choose to lead. Don't hate the copycats and take the responsibility very seriously. With great power comes great responsibility. And that comes from Spider-Man, if anybody didn't know. Besides, you wouldn't have leaders without followers. They make the leader. So stay humble and choose to use your words and actions wisely. So, it's kind of like when you have a younger sibling and they want to copy every single thing you do, and they're constantly up your butt, driving you crazy. And there's a lot of people who are adults today who still get triggered by that, who still get so upset over people that look up to them, that are inspired by them, who still get so upset by people who decided to dye their hair the same color as them. I actually had somebody do that recently. Or things like that. Why? Why get upset that somebody looks up to you and enjoys who you are as a person so much that they would like to improve themselves as a person by following your example? How are you supposed to be a leader if you hate the people that are doing that? Shepherds don't hate the sheep. they love them. And in showing them that love, a lot more goodness comes back to them. My life. Take a day to walk in my shoes. At the end, you'll get to choose. My life sparkles and it shines, but inside it all unwinds. Hollywood seeps into home. Everything is plastic and foam. Wanting a piece of what they can't have got them lying to build a salve. Deceit is felt all too true. Real friends are far too few. If you ever wonder why I'm loyal to the core, I know this. It's always been at my door. I've known very few that I can trust. Sometimes letting go is a must. My trust gone at their betrayal, a coffin lid on the door was nailed. Too much death I've had to taste, with those that aren't so very close, I proceed with much more haste. Everyone wants to be foes. I'm not here to compete, I'm just trying to stand on my feet. Maybe you should choose yours too, then your mind wouldn't be so blue. At the core of your anger is fear, kick your courage into gear. So, these people also could be trying to follow a life or live a life that they aren't even seeing the truth of anyway. There may be some masks that you're needing to remove. There may be some vulnerabilities that you're needing to share. If you're dealing with a lot of people with jealousies, a lot of people with bitterness, a lot of people that are resentful of you and whatever you got going on, it may be because they're not even seeing the hardships that you're facing. There's nothing wrong with allowing people to see that your life isn't perfect and that there's a lot of things going on for you that are hard too. Being vulnerable and being open, it builds that intimate connection, and it also helps people to realize that they can relate to you in ways as well. I'm definitely a big one of, I don't just share my happy moments. I share all the moments, miserable, happy, good. And people are like, why are you spreading negativity? I'm not spreading negativity. I'm showing people that I'm a human and that this is what humans have in their life. It doesn't matter how much you level up or how much you spiritually activate yourself. There's going to be bad things that happen in your life. That's just the way it is. That's what life is. Life has good and it has bad. What is different is your ability to remain peaceful and happy regardless of the bad that is happening, regardless of the ups and downs that you're facing or the ins and outs. There was actually one person at one point that was talking about they can't wait till they're at the level of healed that they can be around me 24/7. And I was like, excuse me, I can't be around anybody 24/7. It has nothing to do with how healed you are. It has nothing to do with you not being a good enough person. It has to do with I need space. I need time for me. I need breathing room. And I don't need anybody up my ass 24/7. And explaining that to somebody is a really hard thing to do sometimes. But it's also an honest thing to do. And it may lose you people around you, to be honest, but you should still be honest anyway. Because that also means that you're going to be inviting room for those who appreciate you for who you really are. For your soul tribe. There also may be a need here for you to go out more, to have some more fun, to really just enjoy yourself and let loose, to stop worrying so much about needing to hold everything together all the time. You may have went through a lot recently, and you have been so stable throughout it, so strong, so confident. You should definitely be proud of yourself. And one of the ways to reward yourself for that would be to get out and have some fun, to enjoy yourself, and to let go of your worries for a night, to just allow yourself to live and be human and be okay with it, to do something a little bit impulsive. You might keep a little bit too much control over what it is that you're doing. And sometimes it is nice to just let loose and enjoy yourself. It brings out that inner child within you. And it also helps with manifesting as well, especially because you're keeping things in a much more balanced energy. Wolf Moon, I will watch over you. You will be protected. You will be safe. If you decide to go out and have fun and to live life and to enjoy yourself, you will be safe. The song Crazy is coming to mind right now. You really think that you're in control? Ha ha ha, bless your soul. So, and the song Protector, I don't remember who sings that. City Wolf, maybe? Because I'll be your protector. You will be watched over. You will be safe. in doing something that's fun, in letting go a little bit, enjoying yourself and living life and not feeling like everything has to be so perfect all the time. It is okay to just fucking lose it once in a while and to just be in that energy. Deep dark sea mermaid. And if you have been before, it's time to forgive yourself for that and to really understand that that was something you needed as much as anything else. Deep dark sea mermaid. Find solutions in unknown places, in the darkness. Sometimes you can find solutions in the darkness. Sometimes you can find a lot of things that you were missing. Sometimes there's a lot of lessons and things that you needed to know or things that you needed to learn that could only come from visiting that side of yourself and from allowing yourself to express those parts of you. And those parts of you are part of you. They do need to breathe. They do need to get out and live. They do need to be expressed in some sort of way. There's a lot of healthy outlets for being able to do that. And there's a lot of more controlled environments for being able to do that as well. Make the sacrifice and know that you belong. So, there is definitely an idea or thought process that you need to sacrifice, that you need to let go of. The idea that you're so different that you're never going to find anybody like you. The idea that you're completely alone. The idea that there's nothing in this world for you, that you don't belong here. If there's ideas about who you are or who you're not, if there's limiting beliefs and thoughts about what you can become, anything that is causing you to dislike yourself and to hate yourself or causing you to hate the world around you needs to go. There is a lot of nasty in this world around us, yes. But we can live in heaven or we can live in hell, depending on our perspective, because both are found on this planet. So it's time to change that mindset to one that is more healthy for you and what you want to create. It's time to tell yourself that you belong in this world, that you are here for a reason, that every person on this planet has a purpose. And yours is important too. The impact that you make on this world around you is a very great impact. Think about the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Absolutely love that movie. That guy really feels like everybody would just be better off if he was never born. But look at the world that he created by taking himself out of it. Sometimes we don't realize just how many lives we impact around us. Sometimes we really don't feel the love and the gratitude from the world around us either. A lot of the time, that's because we're not giving it to ourselves. We're not seeing ourselves as the amazing person that we are. Take a moment to think about the impacts that you may have had on people that were very positive, that could have really changed their life in some sort of way, that could have really made a difference. Something that you may have overlooked. I had somebody at one point that got a hold of me 10 years after I had talked to them, and I had talked to them for maybe 15 minutes. And they got a hold of me 10 years later to tell me they still remember me. And what I told them that day made such a large impact on their life. Of course, then they got upset because I didn't remember them. And you know what? Sorry, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I remembered you. I talk to thousands and thousands and thousands of people regularly. How am I supposed to remember somebody I talked to for 15 minutes 10 years ago while I was on vacation? Because even while I'm on vacation, I'm doing shit like that. Because that's who I am. And that's my purpose in this world. And it don't matter if I'm on vacation. If I feel called to be that light in somebody's life, that's where I'm going to be at. I'm going to be there doing it. Because that's who I am and that's what I'm here for. Doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy my vacation. And that doesn't mean that there's not going to be times that I'm going to turn my phone on fucking do not disturb and just go away from people. Of course, I warn people about that too. If you don't hear back from me, I probably have my phone on do not disturb. It'll be back on the next day and you'll hear from me then. I always get back to people at the end of the day, so, it doesn't have to be immediate. That's a lot of the issues that are going on in today's world too, is everybody's so used to everybody being able to communicate so immediately. And when they can't, people freak out, even if it's just an hour that it takes somebody to respond back. And you know, those things are inside too. It's, once again, that validation and that feeling unloved. And that comes from inside of you. It doesn't come from the other people's actions around you as much as it does inside of you. Or even from past abuse or trauma a lot of times. Which is why it's inside you. So, just a second.
I sure hope you said Sprite on top of that.
Thank you. No, but that works.
What was it?
Orange soda.
Okay.
It works, so thank you.
Receipt card.
Thank you.
I want my change. Me too.
Okay. So, where were we at? Who are you really? What do you want to do or be? Are you free or are you just projecting? So, are you free of the insecurities? Are you free of the pain? Are you free of the rejection? Are you free of the abuse? Or are you projecting that abuse out onto other people, blaming them for the past hurts and pains that you went through? What is no longer serving you? It is mirrored. The more you hold on, the harder it will be. This one came out the other day too. What do others see when they look at me? Is that what's truly important? There will always be haters. Give them something real to hate on. It doesn't matter what other people see when they look at you. What do you see when you look at you? Are you happy when you look in the mirror? Or are you playing a part for everyone around you and really doing things that you don't agree with, or going places you don't want to be, or being around people that you don't want to be around? Are you putting up with things that you don't want to put up with? Are you expressing yourself when you're sitting in a group of people and you feel like something that's going on is wrong? Or are you holding back out of fear or out of being afraid that you won't be liked? If you're living with someone, out of a fear that you won't have a place to go if you express yourself, because you'll land on your feet. And what's most important is holding firm to your own morals and boundaries. Being the person that you can wake up and live with every day. The person that you want to look at in the mirror. Because when you're not doing that, you end up creating a lot of things you have to forgive yourself for. And a lot of things that you have to work through. You create more work for yourself. Ugh. I've done it many times in my life. Dolphin. Balanced energy. Joyful, playful, good instincts. Intelligent. You're very protective, and you also bring life to anyone stuck in depression. Lucky, self-sacrificing. You make friends easily and with all types of people. You bring harmony and peace wherever you go. So, Earth Angel is definitely what anybody on this channel watching regularly is. Could you imagine if such an angel was removed from this planet? Because we were talking about It's a Wonderful Life earlier, and you know, I feel like there would be a very large gap of light going on without you in this world. Sometimes it can be extremely hard to see that, but you are an amazing, amazing human. One who is always there trying to do good and trying to bring peace and harmony and love and light to the world. At the same time, when we're denying those shadows, or when we're in hurt and pain energy or anger energy or resentment energy or whatever other energy, we take that hurt and we hurt others just like anyone else does. Some people, yes, intentionally run around hurting people. Yes, there are those people that do that. I have dealt with some of those people that have done that intentionally run around hurting people. But there are a lot of people on this planet that are not intentionally hurting people. They're hurting people simply because they are hurt and their wound is festering all over anyone that comes in contact with them. And there's been times where each and every one of us has hurt someone because of that. Whether we want to think about it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, the only way to heal that and the only way to be able to forgive yourself and love yourself after that is to be able to acknowledge that, is to be able to recognize that and believe that. And it is also going to help you in being able to forgive the other people around you as well. Brighter Than Gold by Louis II. Brighter than gold, brighter than gold. I feel it coming, coming. I was made for the throne. Yeah. You are transforming every day. It has been a very changing time, but it's for your highest good. Sometimes the old ways of being or doing need to be changed so that you can move forward. Doesn't mean we don't love the past us. Trust that you will rise up. You have what it takes, and a fire burns in your soul. There may be secrets that you are afraid to express, but it's time to voice your desires, your wants, and your needs. It's time to recognize what is truly valuable to you and to create a new beginning through honesty, hope, peaceful thoughts, rest, reflection, self-care, and being able to release the outcome, believing that it is worth it, and expressing yourself no matter what comes, knowing that what you truly want wants you too. And in being honest in that way, it's going to weed out a lot for you. It's going to show you where you really want to be and who you really want to be around. And it's going to show you who really resonates with you and who doesn't. You may think there's nobody like you in this world, but there is a lot of people like you in this world. On my channel alone, there's over 3,500 people who resonate with you. So there are people out there that you can find that are your tribe. People out there that love like you love. People will tell you that no one has the same heart as you. Well, there are some people who do. And you don't have to settle for a black heart when you could have one that is lit up. But what it takes is honesty with yourself and with others about who you are, what you want, and where you're going, what you will and won't accept, and what is disrespect to you and what isn't, and whether or not you're going to allow other people and their actions to denote how you feel about you. Because even when other people disrespect you, you don't have to let that affect you in that way either. It's kind of like, say somebody owes you money, and instead of handing it to you, they throw it on the ground, and you got to pick it up. There's a lot of people that I know that would be extremely pissed off about that because of the level of disrespect in that. And I can understand that because, wow, talk about fucking disrespectful. And I would probably tell them just how disrespectful I thought it was. Then I'd walk away. Don't need to cause no more problems. No. And I don't need to take that with me either because that's not mine. That's theirs. For some reason, they were feeling the need to try to drop me down a peg, which means apparently they're not feeling very good about themselves, right? So why spend all my time being upset over somebody who hates themselves so much and is so miserable? Instead, I'm not going to become miserable. I'm going to go live my best life and be happy while I'm at it. Because I don't need to be miserable just because that person's miserable and they want company. Nope. Right now is your chance to be able to look at things from a higher perspective, to be able to understand things in a different way than you have before, to be able to really rise above the judgment and take the high road in whatever situations you are dealing with. And it's a road that is free and clear for you to follow. What you put out there will come back to you. And the kindness, love, joy, happiness, and beauty that you spread to this world around you, people will remember that. And they will spread it right back to you. Divination is going to be very important for you on this path as well. Being able to divine the true meaning behind situations, being able to connect the dots, being able to see things that other people are missing, being able to listen to the wisdom and intelligence within yourself. And I don't know how many of you actually know that crows talk, but crows talk. They don't focus on them. They don't, make a big deal out of it like they do with parrots, because parrots are rainbow. They're colorful. They're bright and beautiful. And crows are dark and evil and miserable and whatever because of looks. Because of looks. It's pretty sad how much stock people put into looks sometimes. But crows are extremely intelligent. And crows are extremely kind as well to people who are kind to them. To the people that respect them, they respect. To the people that shit on them, they shit on. Quite literally sometimes. Crows will actually remember what people have done for generations afterwards. Sometimes they will remember the children of the people who did things to them at times. So even if a lot of those good things don't come back to you, it may come back to those that you love that come after you as well. The legacy that you're building is something that is going to extend not just to you, but down your line. Also because you're teaching those same values and morals and beliefs to those that are coming after you as well. Dream big and believe big. Remember to keep enough for yourself as well. Remember that in all the giving that you do need time and energy to take care of the things for you too. You have a lot going on around you, and you are fully capable of being able to handle it all. And being able to handle it very efficiently and very effectively. You're very stable, very strong, very sturdy. And there's nothing that's going to get in the way of this unless you let it. You may also be learning a lot emotionally about yourself and the world around you right now as well. The song that's coming to mind right now is Jacob Lee Conscience. Basically, he says that we have the ideas that we have for a reason. We have the dreams that we have for a reason. They are put there for a reason. If we truly want them, we can have them. But we have to put in the time, the effort, the work, and the energy that it requires to create them. It's not just wishing on a star. Manifestation is more than just making a wish and letting it happen. That's part of it. And it's a big part of it. And that's one of the parts of it that has been hardest for me, is letting it happen. But it's also the work. I've had no problem with the work. That one I've been good at my whole life. It's the work. It's the time, the energy. It's also the not being distracted by everything else outside yourself as well. It's okay to put into other things, but you got to leave those things there. At the end of the day, when you go home, take only your energy home. Don't take the energy of everyone else home with you. And I know that's easier said than done as well, but in my life, I'm almost like the Catholic priest of people, okay? Everyone tells me everything that's ever happened in their life, or everything that they've ever done in their life. And if I took that all home with me, if I carried that all around on my back with me everywhere I went, I would literally be dying. I know, because I kind of was a few years back, about 8 years ago. I was in pain from my fucking head to my toes from 14 to 26. Fucking constant pain all day, every day. Trying to figure out why the fuck my body is so fucking horrible at such a young age, because everybody's telling me, oh, none of that could be happening. You're too young for that. Until one day when my hands locked up and I couldn't fucking move them. And then all of a sudden my family believes me about what's going on. The doctors checked for all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit. The one that it lined up with most, especially since they couldn't find an answer for it, is fibromyalgia. Do you know that fibromyalgia, 98% of people with fibromyalgia have been through severe emotional or mental abuse or physical abuse or sexual abuse or all of them, and it manifests into your body. Not only were my problems manifesting into my body, but everybody else's problems were manifesting into my body too. I don't wake up feeling like that anymore. I almost never feel like that anymore. My migraines, I have maybe once every 6 months to a year now, instead of constantly. And it's all because I stopped letting everybody else's energy be mine and letting my energy be everybody else's. I started taking care of myself. I started putting into myself. I started giving myself that time that I needed, that space that I needed, that rest that I needed. I started allowing myself to sleep more and better. I started making sure to take care of me too. And I started doing a lot of sessions. I do them regularly. There's a lot of times where I just do a quick 1.5-minute session throughout the day where I will close my eyes and I will release all that energy and I will call back the pieces of myself and protect that energy. It's amazing how healed you can become when the problems of the entire world are not on your shoulder. So you can't carry all those things around with you. There's always going to be bad things that happen, and there's always going to be both light and dark in this world, and that's the way it is. So you can't carry it all around with you. That's what takes you into that martyr energy as well. The toxic side of the martyr energy. So, between messages, if anybody wanted to be able to take advantage of the Christmas special I got going on with 2 questions for $10 or leave a donation, then you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wishlist in the description box below. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate anybody who likes, shares, comments, or subscribes here or on my poetry channel as well. Thank you guys for that. And let's see what else our guides want to talk about today. Money flows swiftly and easily to me this week, especially during my sessions. I have enough for all that I need and want. My arms, heart, mind, and soul are open to receive. No more waiting. Abundance is already here. I call all my energy back to me. My energy is flowing, amazing, glittery, and golden. Everyday abundance, prosperity, and success flows my way very easily. I am not responsible for the happiness of others. It's time to wake up to the new life that I have made. Everything is paying off, and I do deserve it all. So feeling like you deserve it and allowing it to come in is definitely one of the harder steps. It's one of the final steps at the very end of it. Thank you, Levels. Throw your questions down there and I will get to them after this message. Definitely something that is hard to do. Feeling that you deserve it, feeling that you're worthy of it, feeling like this is meant for you. Anyone that wants to work for it deserves that abundance. Anyone that puts in that time, that energy, and that effort to cultivate their skills or their intelligence or whatever it is that they're working on deserves to have that payback from it. But not everyone knows how to allow themselves to have that. Not everybody knows how to believe that they deserve it. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're blocking it out in that way. But it can definitely happen. So taking a few minutes every day to tell yourself how proud you are of the work that you're doing, of how much you've accomplished. Recognizing your hard work and your effort. Really, truly looking at yourself and being proud is something that's really going to help you with that. Recognizing yourself, not worrying about whether or not anybody else is recognizing you, not worrying about whether or not anything's coming in, but just being right now in this moment where you're at, happy, feeling blessed, feeling amazing, And like you have accomplished so much, whether you're at the end of these goalposts or not, you have accomplished so much. And recognizing yourself for that is very, very important, because you need to know that in order for you to create something more for yourself. On top of the world, nothing you do or say will faze me. My level up is so on key. Self-love is taking place. With it, nothing is too hard to face. On top of the world is where I'm at. No time to dwell on a dirty rat. Closing cycles left and right. Nothing is ever out of sight. You can't stop me, can't you see? Work on you. Set yourself free. There's no more time for a busy bee. Set your eyes on your own lane. Who is now the one that's sane? You never had the power to take me out. My faith was strong, never a doubt. The divine being's at my side. You're not welcome on this ride. 2222. So that is what's going to bring you that balance and that harmony in your life, that peace and that stability, that strength and that success, is being able to believe and have faith in what it is that you're working on, in your protection, and also not focusing all your time and energy on all the distractions around you or all the hurtful, cruel, negative people around you or negative situations around you. But focusing your time and energy on what you have to be grateful for, what's right in front of you, and where you want to go. So, what message do you need to hear today? And what do your ancestors think of you? So, busy bee. I think that last message was definitely for you as well, because busy bee came out in that too. Busy as a bee, creating so much honey, buzzing around at peace with life, no causes for any strife. Building for you and for your team, living life is a dream. Moving so quick, remember a break. So much seems to be at stake. You got this, it's in the bag. No more worry, that's a drag. Networking seems to be something that really sets you free. So getting out and talking to people is going to be something that really helps you right now with whatever it is that you're working on. And it might be a little bit hard for you right now to get back out there and talk to people. There could have been something that happened, or you may have taken some time and space away from the world a little bit. So it may be a little bit hard to get back out there and talk and get to know people and start, like building connections. Building connections is going to be something that's very important for you. You are so ready to step into the spotlight. Remember, a quick energy cleansing can do wonders for your anxiety. That's what I was feeling, that anxious energy. Ground yourself and move forward. Take the stage, but remain humble in your dealings. Extend the knowledge that you have within you with care. With great power comes great responsibility. So, there is definitely something that you're needing to express. There's something that you are needing to add to this world around us. And in order to do that, it's going to require overcoming some anxieties. When it comes to social anxiety, that's one of the ones that I've had to deal with a fair amount in my life. When it comes to social anxiety, say you're going to the gas station today and you go in and you get your stuff and you pay for it and you leave and nobody ever talked to anybody. Next time you go into the gas station, when you go to get your drink and there's somebody else standing at the fountain, be like, hey, how's your day going? Every time you do it, it's going to get a little bit easier. When you go to pay for your stuff, ask the cashier how their day's going. Each time you do it, it's going to get a little bit easier and a little bit easier. And I know small talk is not the best thing in the world. It took me a long time to be okay with small talk, I guess. But it's a very important part of building those connections. When you go into that gas station regularly and you see the regular people that you ran into, slowly you start to build those connections a little bit. But also, it helps you to break out of that anxiety you have when it comes to speaking to people when you haven't been around people in a little while. And a lot of times, we're not going to the same gas station all the time. Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. But I mean, you could even do it in places where you're not there all the time if it makes you feel better. Because then you're never even going to see those people again anyway. So what's it matter? And what's it matter what anybody thinks about you anyway? How many people have asked those people how their day is going? Not many of them. Most people are just like, ring up your stuff, get out of here. Ring up your stuff, get out of here. And that's just an invisible being to them. That's not even a human being standing behind the counter. That person's going to feel like $1,000,000 because you just realized they are alive today. And who knows, you might even save a life doing that, because how many people in this world are feeling so miserable and non-connected from the world around them and feeling like nobody sees them, notices them, appreciates them, or cares about them? And how many of those people take that energy home with them that night and then kill themselves? So just saying hi to somebody can create a very big impact in their life. Underneath it all, believe that you're beautiful. There are many mistakes that you think you have made, but know that it all happened for a reason. Start to see yourself as the man. All humans are imperfectly perfect, unconditional love for you and others. For some reason, Taylor Swift's song, The Man, just popped in my mind when I read that too. Because if I was the man, I would be the man. A lot of times, and not all the time, because there's a lot of men who have social anxiety too. But a lot of times men happen to be the ones that are a little bit more on point when it comes to just talking to anyone, anywhere. They usually take the lead, and, for a long time, they were the lead when it came to that. So that could be part of the reason why that was coming up. You have dealt with many injustices, but fear not, you will be vindicated. Everything is coming out. Release the past, surrender what is, have faith in your God, angels, and ancestors. I can understand that. Yep. Another one of my favorite songs is Alpha. Mother Destroyer. Yeah, one and the same. Damn straight. No one calls you honey when you're sitting on a throne, so you become the king instead of the queen. That's the way it works sometimes. And some people actually can be that way, but you got to find very feminine men to be that. And not have them be gay. Because I've had that happen. So, taking a leap of faith. Feeling like you are able to fly when you jump off this cliff. You can reach the sky. Anything that you're doing right now is really going to build that up. I feel like there's definitely a lot of communication skills that are needing to be worked on right now. Everyone needs a break sometimes. Time to rest. That's another thing that's going to help too, because sometimes when we start to break out of that, we overdo it a bit. Make sure that you're not overdoing it, that you're just, keeping it at a level that's good for you at the time, and then increasing it as you feel the need to, and as you feel like you can handle a bit more. So, what do your ancestors think about you? I will show you whom to trust. They will be with you, guiding you while you're doing this. You may have some trust issues, which could be part of the reason for the social anxiety. But they want you to know that they are definitely behind you and will show you who to trust and who is okay for you to interact with. And sometimes you'll listen and sometimes you won't. I'm stubborn. Little brother, little sister, siblings, younger friends, responsibilities. A beautiful little worm. Take care of yourself. So, your ancestors think that you are an amazing person. They really do. They love that you care for everyone around you. They love that you care so much about if you have younger siblings, or if you have like younger friends or younger people that look up to you, that are around you regularly. They love that you are there to show them the way, that you are there to guide them and protect them. That you have a lot of wisdom that you've picked up that they may not have, that you share with them. You may even show a lot of younger people than you who to trust. And that's a big responsibility as well. So you may sometimes question whether or not you should be around certain people because you have other people who depend on your guidance and discernment. But I will say that when it turns out to be someone you shouldn't trust, they learned those lessons too. And since they learned them through you, it's not as hard when they go out to do that themselves as well. Your ancestors definitely want you to take care of yourself better, though, to love yourself, to really pamper yourself and take some time for you. You need a break and you need some rest so that you can fill yourself back up with that light again. That will also help you to remain much more grounded as well when you're dealing with those anxious situations like that. 5 of Swords and the 3 of Wands. It will also help you to be much more equipped to deal with any of the rest of the crap going on, any of the chaos, any of the drama, any of the BS, any of the jealousy or resentment or bitterness that may come your way. You definitely have a lot coming your way in the way of wins, recognition, payoff for the work you've been doing, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to have a lot of messages coming in. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to be wanting to spend time with you as you get out there more and as you do more things. That could be part of the social anxiety as well. There was one point in time where I went out to the bar one night and this guy offered to buy me a drink, and I had met him a few times, so it wasn't just some random stranger, but he offered to buy me a drink and if I wanted to come over and hang out with him and his son and his wife. And I was like, cool, awesome. So I went over and had a drink with them. And like 15, 20 minutes later, we're coming back from the other bar, and I don't know where he went because we went down to the other bar and we were going back to the other one. But his son and his wife were up ahead, so I was kind of catching up to them. And then I heard them arguing, and my stomach sank. And I was just like, oh, God, I know what this is. Damn it. And so he turns around, and he's like, I did not fuck her. She's standing right there. Why don't you ask her? And I was like, shit. And she's like, I wasn't even talking about her. He's like, if you saw another woman in there with blue hair, let me know right now, because that's the only one I've seen all night with blue hair. And I was like, I'm not fucking him. I literally met him 10 minutes ago when his dad bought me a drink and introduced us. But that could be part of the reason why you have a hard time with that as well. You might have a lot of people who end up jealous or who end up resentful or who end up trying to compete with you or whatever the case may be. And it may be something that you just don't want. You don't want that confrontation. You don't want to be around it, but you can't hide your light away from the world forever because of other people's insecurities. And all of those emotions are on them. It has nothing to do with you. You aren't hurting people by being you. So be you. Those people are hurting already. They're just triggered by you being you. Be vigilant. You were born to create, and you can't create when you're worried about your work that's being put out there causing problems and feeling like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be you, and it's not a bad thing to create what you're creating, and it's not a bad thing to step into the leadership role that you are designed for. Because living half a life is never going to make you happy. But stepping into your power and being who you were meant to be is going to bring you so much happiness, even if it does create some disharmony around you. Eventually, you'll learn how to deal with those situations to where it's not as bad. I actually went home with those guys that night and helped them work on some things in their relationship after all of that. So, I hope that helped, sweetheart. Yes, I am still taking questions. Send payment and put your question down there and I will answer it. So let's see what else our guides want to say in between. It's time to give to you a little bit. Expecting all of your care to come from someone outside of yourself is codependent. Ever wonder why you end up in relationships that are codependent and toxic? Take a look in the mirror. You might be codependent yourself. You can be codependent on people just the same as you can be on anything else. Is it narcissism that you see in your partners, or is it yourself? Doing so much to care for everyone else and expecting another to care for every part of you can be seen as selfish or narcissistic, especially if your partner isn't one you place on a priority list, but you expect them to do so for you. Although most here probably give far too much to their partner, resulting in too high of expectations, and their partner being in that opposite side of it. If you feel, or if you loved you, you wouldn't be looking for external validation, and you would know what you expect from others and what you can give to others. So would they. Anything not up to par would fall away in knowing that something better would come along, instead of dreading that it never will. So, it's time to stop worrying about whether or not you're going to be with somebody, whether or not you're going to have a partner, whether or not you're going to have a friend. And it's time to start putting your foot down and telling people, hey, look, I got my own shit to take care of. I got to take care of me today. I can't run around doing everything for you. It would be awesome if you could help me out today. I've helped you out a lot. You looking to help me out? And some of them aren't going to be. Some of them are not going to be in your corner the way you've been in their corner. But that's okay. You don't need them in your corner. You need you in your corner. Because when you are in your corner, then you stand up for yourself and you make sure that it's a balanced give and take, and that people aren't just taking everything you have to give and shitting on you at the end of it. You're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you as well. So, as we were discussing earlier, we can live in heaven or we can live in hell. When our heart is broken, when we're feeling hurt and in pain, used and abused, when we're feeling like everything is falling apart constantly, we don't have anybody that loves us or cares about us, when we allow ourselves to be used and abused because we feel like nobody else is going to come along because nobody else ever has, we live in hell. But the way that we free ourselves is by healing that heart, by having love, compassion, and empathy for ourselves and the other people that we've dealt with, by being able to let go and release that, by being able to lift ourselves up, by lightening that load and dropping that burden that we carry so defensively around our necks, like a big fat ball and chain dragging us down. Once we let that go, we can rise up. And a lot of that is also crying. Don't feel like you should cry over the loss of a person who hurt you. Why not? You loved them. You had hope for that situation. You really never thought that they would do that to you, and they did. There's a lot of tears that may be welled up inside of you that need to be set free. When we're holding those tears back, it creates a lot of other negative, nasty emotions. It's not just men anymore who have that toxic masculinity mindset either. Ever since the independent women age, there's a lot more women who have that toxic masculinity too, where shedding a tear makes you weak or a pussy, where being more vulnerable and open makes you stupid and naive, where being more yielding and flexible and adaptable makes you somebody's footstool, or being able to shed your tears makes you so incredibly strong and so beautiful, because not everybody can do that. Being able to open yourself up and be vulnerable and let people in does not make you weak, naive, or stupid. It makes you fucking incredibly strong, especially after being through so much hurt and pain and hardship. It's amazing that you can still open your heart and be this loving, beautiful creature. But that loving, beautiful creature is stuffed inside of a box when we're stuck in that pain. And the defensive, hurt, vulnerable, scared, angry person is running things. They're driving things. They're leaving a path of destruction around them when we're in that state. Hedgehog love, positive, uplifting new friends. And as you open yourself, sometimes you open yourself to some of the most beautiful, amazing things there are. Mermaid in a koi pond. Rediscover your individuality and become the dragon. Become the leader. Become fierce and free. Become the person who doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks about you or what you're doing. Who isn't worried about being stupid, who isn't worried about being naive, who isn't worried about being a pussy, who isn't worried about whatever negative ass things other people have to say about you or think about you. Who cares? As long as you are being you. Thank you, Guided Intuition. What were your questions? To stay soft, definitely. In this hard, cold, cruel world, it is so hard to do sometimes. So Rock Forever is the song that always reminds me of, too. I know I'm not flawless. I'm scarred up and I'm fine with it. My body's on the laundry list of all of life's unkindnesses. But I still sip tea and chant Om and live free. Because heartbreaks turn to rap epiphanies. So every heartbreak that you have, every hurt, every pain that you have can be morphed and transmuted into something else. If you take action to do that. But when we stay stuck on it and mired in it and allow ourselves to be just brought down to a pool of misery, then we're not doing that either. There's going to be a changing of tides. What once was up always comes down, and what once was down always comes up. I've been telling a lot of people that lately. Everything in power always ends up falling. Even Rome fell. Other things are going to fall eventually too, and I really hope the people in this country understand that. But if there were people that were extremely abusive to you in the past, who were on top and really seemed like they were getting away with everything that happened, the tide is going to turn. And these people are going to be seeing that they did not get away with anything they thought that they got away with. It's also time to have that strength and courage to express yourself, to put yourself out there, to set those boundaries and to stand firm by them, to walk away from anything that is not serving your highest good, to walk away from situations that are emotionally draining, depleting, or abusive. Regardless of whether or not you have love for these situations, you need to move away from these situations. If you need to cry about it, then cry about it. If you need to rant about it, then rant about it. If you need to, whatever you need to do to pull yourself up out of these situations, or whatever you have done in the past to pull yourself up out of these situations and to find your true heart again and bring it out to the surface. Be proud of yourself. Because yes, it may not have been the best, most beautiful transformation anybody could have made. Transformations are messy. When a caterpillar crawls inside of that cocoon to become a butterfly, it emulsifies. It turns to liquid inside of that cocoon. It's a nasty, awful, horrible experience where the entire caterpillar is deteriorated to create that new life and that beautiful butterfly. So in finding yourself and your true heart again after a situation like that, it can be an extremely messy process, and you can hurt a lot of people while doing it. The most important thing is not to deny that, to acknowledge it, to accept it, to take your, what's it called? Responsibility. That's not the word I was looking for, but to take responsibility for what has happened. To express what needs to be expressed, to make amends where they need to be made. To be able to let go of that pain of the past too. Because now you are this person that's not going to let that happen again. Where you might have once let a lot of things happen, you are no longer going to do that. Your inner child should feel safe and free to come out again now. And if not, it will soon. What makes you admirable? So, let your emotions flow. Know your power. Hear the ancient ones. Your ability to listen to the signs, synchronicities, and messages. Your ability to adapt, grow, and learn. Your ability to, the song that's coming to mind right now is Ariel's from System of a Down. We drink from the river and then we put up our walls. You drink from the river and you keep your walls down so that others may drink from you too. You're a very emotional person, you're a very loving person, you're a very open person, and you have a very strong intuition. You're very much at peace with who you are and how you feel. You know the power that you have inside of you, and you don't let anyone stop you. You're very stubborn, very persistent, determined, motivated, and driven. Childhood treasures resurface. Your imaginary friend. The fairy ring. New skills, advanced training, rapid improvements. So, you learn things very quickly. You level up very quickly. When you put your mind to something, you can do anything and you can accomplish it with ease. And this makes you very admirable. Not everybody learns and grows and shifts and changes as quickly or rapidly as you do. Aura to Prophet metamorphosis is coming to mind now too. Everyone changes. The only variable is rate. But there's a lot of people that will tell you nobody changes, but that's because people resist change very heavily. You're somebody who is quite capable of making changes necessary. You're also somebody who is capable of being able to revisit your childhood, being able to delve into your roots, and being able to learn new things from those experiences as well. Things that you may have missed before. I'm so glad she feels safe to come out. The other things that make you so admirable, your quick pace, your manifesting skills and abilities. You may also be somebody who likes to learn a lot about a lot of different cultures or travel around a fair amount. Or just go to new places and do new things a lot. You may not be as afraid of a lot of new things as a lot of people are. You may actually be somebody who's very open to new experiences, changes, or upheavals. You could have had a lot of upheavals in your life, which caused you to have a lot more confidence and courage when it comes to that. And you're also somebody who is very free with your love. You're not somebody who's looking to chain people down or tie them up. You're looking to experience love with people in a very free way. You give freedom and you expect freedom in your relationships or connections. You're not somebody who is bringing toxicity in. So, I would say the answer to your question too, before I even pull any cards, yes, definitely. Because that person that I just described, that's exactly what you are, a self-love coach. I just read that question. I didn't read it before I started that. The sun and the world. Orca magic, the Akashic libraries open. Fiona and the unicorn, the gift of sacred sight. So, you can see inside people, and you can see what they're fighting with. You can see what's going on with them and why they have the self-hate that they do, and how they can level that up and how they can upgrade. You see very clearly. You're a very happy, optimistic, loving, joyful person, and you spread a lot of light to this world. That beautiful light that you have catches fire and is contagious to all around you. There's a lot of darkness in this world, and the path that you've chosen to take is a beautiful one, because you're doing your part to raise the vibrations of everyone around you. And you definitely have it in you to be able to do that. You may want to look up the orca whale specifically as well. You are somebody who's extremely deep. You have a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy, a lot of love. Where other people see things within themselves to hate, you see things within them to love. Even in the darkest of person with the most pain there is, somebody that most people would hate on this planet, I feel like you still see the good inside of them, that beautiful shimmer of light that is within them. And you're somebody who can ignite that light into a forest fire. So you have definitely chosen the right path for yourself. So we are going to do one more question to close, or one more message to close this out today. And once again, if anybody wants to be able to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, Amazon wish list in the description box below. Thank you guys for that. And thank you to anybody who has been liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing on this channel or my other channel. I am still going to be doing a random giveaway when I get to 1,000 subscribers on my other channel. It's going to be something different that I haven't given away before, so I'm really excited about that. It's taking a while, but that's okay, because when it gets here, it's going to be even better. Exactly right. Thank you so much for that. And you know what? I think you're doing a beautiful job of doing just that. So, let's see. There's a lot of shade here. Hidden motives, gang stalking, frenemies. One in particular was very close to you. Saw who you are and how beautiful your light was. This has come out a couple times this week too. A lot of the people watching this video may want to watch the last couple readings I did as well. They followed the crowd instead of embracing you and losing the illusion of those who care. Stuck in a popularity contest or hiding something that happened and running away from a group of people because one hurt them deeply and they didn't want to face or reveal it out of shame, guilt, self-worth, or self-esteem issues. They would really like to speak to you and the desire is growing. They may reach out soon. Thank you, beautiful. I really appreciate you guys. So, there is definitely, collectively, some people here that once turned their back on us and want to come back in to express their apologies and to explain why they made the decisions they made, even if they don't fully understand it themselves. They're feeling very ashamed, very guilty, feeling like a monster. You know what? I had one person at one point in time that I was helping one day, and she broke down crying, and she's like, you know, if you knew all the awful and horrible and disgusting things I've done, you wouldn't love me. You wouldn't love me. Not the way that you love me now. There's no way. And I was like, you want to know why I love you? I love you because I see the true you. I see that beautiful light that is inside of you, whether you want to see it or not, whether you want to act on it or not. That's what I love. I love you. That is the person that was my best friend. And when she got into the situation she did, where she was doing the things she did, I don't think she realized how close we were going to become or how good of friends we were going to become or what she was going to lose at the end of it. People sometimes are led by people around them because they have no love for themselves and they have no desire to want to be left alone in the cold. They don't want to be forgotten, unloved, left out. You're welcome. I can definitely feel that. Prayers sometimes can help immensely too. I spent a lot of time praying for the healing of the people that have hurt me. Pray for the devil. Yep, that's what I do. Some people might think it's wrong. Some people might tell you that you need to hate those people. Whatever the case may be, I don't. That hate spreads and it's like poison inside of your fucking veins. And it destroys you and the beautiful heart that you have. So instead, it's not that I don't get angry. Of course I get angry. Who doesn't get angry? Who doesn't get upset? There's still times occasionally where, thinking back on it, I get angry at some of those things. But for the most part, I feel a lot of hurt. Underneath that anger is hurt, is pain, sadness, loss. The betrayals sting very deeply. That's why tears are so effective and cleansing too. Is because that hate is pain. If you hate somebody, then you loved them. Underneath that hate is that love. That love was twisted by the hurt that they caused you and the pain that they caused you. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. That means that you love somebody who hurt you that deeply. And that can make you even more angry than anything else can sometimes. But the beautiful abundance that can come from allowing that to fall away, talking to your guides definitely helps in that as well. Realizing that there's a new day coming, there's a new dawn coming. Just because this situation fell away doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There's plenty of new situations that'll come your way. Sometimes things can be fixed and sometimes they can't. But one thing for sure is that you don't want to be carrying that with you forever. Because it will spill out onto everybody that comes into your life to try to love you the way that you deserve. Embrace the feminine. Nurture all that you love. Do not fear the unknown. Sometimes that's easier said than done too. My mom, like I was talking about earlier, I'm kind of like a Catholic priest almost to people a lot of times, which, considering some of the things they've covered up over the years, is somewhat hard to realize that you are one of them. Because everybody pretty much tells me everything, And I've been around some people that are extremely mired in darkness, who've done some extremely fucked up shit at points. People that don't want to be that anymore. That want to come out of that want to live a different life. If I was afraid, instead of standing in my faith, I wouldn't be there. But that's where I was meant to be. So stand in your faith and trust that where you are meant to be is where you are meant to be. Don't let anybody talk you out of doing the things that you want to do or doing the things you feel drawn to do. When COVID first happened, I had a whole bunch of people that were at my house on a regular basis. We did bonfires and we did marshmallows and roasted hot dogs and all that kind of stuff, and drank a little bit here and there, and we did all the stuff that you couldn't go out and do anymore. So all the people that spent all their time going out and doing things are now being banished to sitting alone at home, where their mental health is going to fucking destroy them. So instead, they're at my house. And my mom's like, oh, you shouldn't have all those people over there. You don't know where any of them have been, and you guys could end up getting sick, and what if you get sick, and blah, 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 blah. First off, I don't believe in COVID. Sorry, I don't. Everybody can argue with me if you want. Flu cases dropped 40% the first year it was on the scene. There was a lot of people being marked as dying from COVID that didn't even die from COVID. There was all kinds of shit going on. But even if I did, what am I going to regret tomorrow if I die? Not fucking living my life, living inside of a box because I was afraid of dying. Don't live inside that box because you're afraid of what's going to happen. Be who you want to be, regardless of anybody else's bullshit. You feel like you need to reach out to somebody? You need to lend them a hand of support? Other people might tell you, oh, you don't want to reach out to that person. Oh, you don't want to do this. Oh, you don't want to do that. Are you going to let fear get in your way? When it comes time to face judgment, are you going to say, I could have stopped that suicide, but I... Love the things around you, love the people around you, and express that love. Be open and receptive to it coming back in, but express it yourself. It may not come back in, but it might come back in, and it might surprise you with the force that it does. It's really hard sometimes to express your love, especially when you are wanting so much for that love to come back to you. Don't make it about that person needing to love you. Make it about needing to express the love you feel so you have no regrets tomorrow about today. There's a beautiful poem, one of the poems that really inspired me to be a poet back in the day. One of the first poems I came across was in a newspaper at a friend's house, and she was like 45, because I spent a lot of my time as a teenager and as a 10-year-old even around people that were 30, 45 years old. I got along with them better than people my age. I don't know. But she had this poem in her newspaper, and it was called Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma McCarrick. And basically it talks about, if I knew it would be the last time that I saw your beautiful face, I would have fucking hugged and kissed you. I would have told you I loved you. I would have recorded every action or word you said to take it with me throughout my day. But because I didn't know that this was your last day, I didn't show you the love that I felt. But if I show you the love that I feel right now, instead of waiting for tomorrow, then I will never regret what I could have possibly done. A couple years ago, I was having this thing with this person. It was a friends with benefits type of thing. And this person was an extremely hurt person. And yeah, I knew they were doing whatever with everybody else. And this person, I loved very deeply. And they did love me. They told me they loved me. But they were telling me they loved me in a different way. It wasn't in that way. And I knew that. And at the same time, I never expressed the love that I had. A couple months later, I did express that love, because that was what I needed to do to set me free. I needed to be sure that I told you, this is how I feel about you. Take it or leave it. That's fine. But I needed to say it for me. So make sure that you are expressing love you feel to people around you, regardless of the past hurt or pain. Alice in a sea of tears, cast away out of your depth, feeling abandoned. The mermaid and the turtle, an elder will teach you. So, feeling cast away, feeling lost and alone, feeling like you can't handle the emotions that you got going on within you, feeling abandoned, feeling hurt, used, abused, all of those things can stop you from expressing the love that you have inside of you, because you feel like if you express it, it's going to hurt so much worse. But what's going to hurt even worse is never expressing it and never getting a chance to ever again. Never showing who you really are, because you were hiding it away out of fear that it wouldn't be reciprocated. When it comes to love, love isn't about whether or not it's reciprocated. Love isn't about whether or not somebody else loves you. Love isn't about whether or not somebody wants to be in a partnership with you. Love is about what you feel for someone because they are an amazing human being, regardless of what they feel for you, regardless of whether or not they want to be with you. And if them not wanting to be with you means you don't love them anymore, then it was never love to begin with. And like I said before, sometimes love turns to hate. But underneath that hate is still love. So, express your feelings, express your emotions, and let people see the beauty that is inside of you. Don't run from it out of fear. So, that is what we have for our messages today. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed being here, and I enjoyed today's reading too. There was a lot of it I probably need to hear extra right now too. So, talking to myself as much as you guys. And I will see you guys next time. If anybody wants to be able to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, Amazon wish list in the description box below. Or if you could like, share, comment, subscribe here or on my other channel, D Storytime, you can find a link in the description box below, and that's where you'll find all my poetry. Thank you guys so much for all of your support and everything you do to help me out on my path and my purpose. You guys mean the world to me, and you make a very big impact in my life. So thank you so much for that. And I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys.